Never fails. So there we go. We are recording now. So say you do try to cut into a nice ripe tomato and it just smushes rather than cutting through. That's when you want to choose a serrated knife. Now I've got a bread knife here, and that's only to show you the serration. We wouldn't really want to use this for tomatoes. It's a little big and bulky for that. But you see the teeth? Kind of like a saw. That is a serrated knife. And with serrated knives, just like a saw, you saw back and forth. And then that cuts through. But again, I'm still holding it with my finger and thumb on the blade. And then I've got the rest of my fingers around the handle. So for the tomatoes, here's the knife I'm going to use. And you can see the teeth in this one too. This is another serrated knife. Maybe you guys can't on this one, in this view.
Too small.
Yeah. But this one has really tiny sharp teeth. And this is perfect for cutting tomatoes. It's not great for the tip because the tip is a little bit bigger. You'll see the difference between the paring knife tip and our serrated knife tip. So the paring knife is a lot smaller. This is better to kind of cut into and then around things. So that's what a paring knife is for. You cut into it and then you can cut around. So things like apples, bananas, if you wanted to cut a banana.
Lemons.
So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to use our paring knife and we're going to cut our strawberries into chunks. You can cut them in one of two ways. You can cut them straight down. So actually, since it's flat, I'm going to lay the flat end down and then cut this way. Or I could put it on its side and cut this way. The problem is strawberries are kind of roly-poly. So it's better if you cut on a flat surface than if you try to cut on a side. You just want to be really careful with them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to have Lucy start cutting. We're going to turn our view so that you all can see our workspace. And we're going to just start taking the stems out.
I would just take the stems out for now.
And you can just cut straight through the top, or you can take that paring knife and cut around the stem. It's up to you how you want to do that. We'll get a compost bowl. So other things we're going to need, we need sugar and we need the lemon juice for this recipe. And then we're actually going to change gears and move on to the bruschetta recipe and prepare the tomatoes for that before we do the rest of the pancakes. So just be prepared. We're going to be kind of switching back and forth between recipes a little bit.
How many do I need?
We need the whole thing. So 1 pound of strawberries. 1 pound is equal to
28 strawberries.
No. How many ounces is in a pound? Do you know? 16. Good job. So 16 ounces is in a pound. What's a half pound? 8 ounces. And a quarter pound?
4.
4 ounces. That's right. Math is easy.
Sometimes.
Yep.
I'm at 7th grade now.
But that's dry ounces, not liquid ounces. So that's a different deal.
So I guess I missed it in there.
Yes. And speaking of which, we're going to need to measure some liquid ounces. So tools that we are going to need. We've got our knife, we've got our cutting board, we've got a compost container. We're going to need measuring cups, a liquid measuring cup, measuring spoons. You're also going to need a saucepan. So this is what our saucepan looks like today.
It's pretty. Brown tea. Ow. I'm trying to find anything.
So another thing that I'm going to show you once Lucy is done stemming all of these strawberries.
Oh my gosh.
We're almost there. Good work. Okay, move that out of the way.
That's about 28.
I don't know, some of them are tiny. Okay, so we've got our strawberries. So when you are cutting things, you want to make sure you make your claw.
Hard.
Yeah. So you're going to hold the strawberry at the end with your claw, and that's so when you're cutting, you can't cut the tips of your fingers, because if your fingers are out, you might cut them.
And then you could cut your nail.
Yep, and that happens. So we're just going to cut straight down and just make small slices.
Yummy in my tummy. Nice big strawberries.
Take your time and pay attention when you are cutting. One of the most dangerous things is if somebody's talking to you, you might want to just put your knife down. If you can't keep your head down and pay attention, that means you could potentially hurt yourself. So Lucy's going to take over and cut the rest of those. Make your claw.
I'm trying.
Okay, sorry. Okay. And they don't have to be super thin. They're going to cook down and they're going to get really mushy. So we don't worry about thinness. We're going to end up kind of mushing them a little bit further with a fork. So you don't have to worry about being super duper tiny. Just try to get them as, pretty thin, but not super thin. So Lucy and I have been teaching kids cooking classes for 5 or 6 years now. We were doing them in person at the co-op. And then because of COVID, obviously, we couldn't do that anymore. So we started doing them virtually.
And now we're here.
Yeah, and now we're here. So Lucy has a lot of experience helping me with these classes and actually is a very good baker. I am not a good baker, so it's nice to have somebody who enjoys baking in the house. I can bake, I just don't like to. Baking requires a lot of measuring and you have to be really accurate. I don't really care for that. Here we go. Sorry.
Okay, cool.
Keep going. Yeah, they look great. They look perfect.
I never chop this much strawberries in, except for when I'm making strawberry pie.
So another thing this sauce would be really good for is using in strawberry shortcake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you could get some pound cake or some angel food cake,
Those taste delicious.
and then pour the strawberry syrup on top, and then a little bit of whipped cream, dairy-free whipped cream, whatever you use. Be delicious.
Just what's from this buttermilk whipped cream?
And I did choose these recipes knowing that they're not vegan. Technically, they're vegetarian because
No meat.
no meat. But there are vegan cream cheeses, there are vegan style goat cheeses out there. So if your mother, aunt, older sister, neighbor,
Done.
awesome.
That took a
If
while.
any of them are vegan, these recipes you can definitely make vegan.
I got it.
Okay, so Lucy's got our saucepan. We are going to put our strawberries into the saucepan.
Break down.
Yeah.
A whole 1 pound of strawberries.
Yes,
16 ounces.
16 ounces, that's right. Okay,
Can I cut the lemon?
let me roll it first.
Oh, yeah, we can do that.
So next thing we have to do, we have to add the juice of 1 lemon. Now this lemon is gigantic, so we'll see how much juice we get from it, but it's also kind of hard.
It's very hard.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to soften it up and loosen up the juices that are inside of this lemon. So I'm just going to take it. I'm going to put one hand on top and then the other hand on top of that. And I'm just gonna roll back and forth, kind of like making pie dough or playing with Play-Doh. You're just gonna put your weight on it, kind of squish it. Now, if it is super, do we turn on the oven for the saucepan? You'll need the stovetop for that, yep.
What would you turn it to, like medium?
I'd say medium low, somewhere in there. If it looks like it's starting to burn, then you're gonna wanna turn it down lower.
And turn it.
Yeah, so this is starting to get squishier. I don't know if you guys can see, but it's definitely a lot squishier than it was.
Whoa.
Another thing you could do with both limes and lemons, this works for both. You could, yeah, it smells great. You could put it in the microwave for about 20 seconds, and that'll help loosen it up too.
Would I use this knife for that?
For this one, yes. And so what we're going to do is Lucy's going to cut it. She's going to put the point in first and then pull down.
Because it's a little tougher, so it wouldn't.
Right, so
to cut it.
This is one of those things that if your knife isn't sharp and you try to cut into,
It'll slip and hit you.
it could slip. So you want to make sure first stab it with a knife and then pull it down.
I don't know how to hold it for this.
There you go.
Oh. You know what? I want to try a pink lemon.
Pink lemons are cool, yeah.
They're pretty.
Okay, so there's our lemon. So what do most lemons have in them?
Citric acid?
Well, yes, that, but what else do most lemons have in them?
This piece.
Okay, seeds. There we go. I knew she'd get there. Okay. So yes, Lucy is right. So we've got the pulp, and then we've got the rind, which is
The outside.
the outside.
What's the pith?
The pith is the white stuff between the rind and the pulp.
Oh,
And
this is
pith-
the pulp. This is not the pulp.
Right. The pulp is where you get the juice. The rind is where you get the oils.
Where do you get the zest?
The zest is the rind.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the pith, this white stuff, that's the bitter stuff. That's the stuff that you don't really want.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've got this little mini sieve, and you can maybe see I've already gotten a few seeds to poke out. So we're going to squeeze our lemon.
Can I do the next one?
You can. Now, if you feel like you're not getting a whole lot of juice out,
You can take a lemon squeezer.
you can do one of two things. Yeah.
A lemon
Do you want
squeezer?
to grab me a fork?
Oh, yeah, you can do that too. What's a lemon squeezer?
So we have this juicer here.
Juicer. Not squeezer.
Yep, so there's a juicer, and I'll show you both methods first. There's also something called a reamer, and I don't own a reamer, but I'll describe it to you. So I'm gonna take this fork and just kind of mush the pulp around inside,
And that'll help get some juice out.
and that'll help you release those juices.
We want all the juice.
So the other thing would be to use this juicer. So it comes in two halves, and it's connected with a hinge. You put your lemon in there, and you squeeze,
And it squeezes out.
and more
all
juice
that
will come
extra
out.
Juice.
And then to get all the juice,
You flip it.
you flip it and put the open side in, and then squeeze again. So that's as much juice as I'm gonna be able to get.
Spitting out of the bottom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Lucy's gonna go ahead and try getting as much as she can out of that one. Very good. That one's great. So say the mother person that you're making this brunch for really likes lemon. I would even zest the lemon and add that to the strawberries
Do you like
and
lemon?
make it really, really fresh.
Do you like lemon?
I like lemon just fine, but I think we're going to stick to the recipe for this time.
Okay. I love lemon.
And since that was such a huge
Do you
lemon,
not want me to juice it?
you can do one more time.
It's not coming out. I feel like we're gonna break it.
They're pretty sturdy. So a reamer,
Done.
very good.
Should I do the other side or?
No,
Okay.
there we go.
It's like a section.
Yes.
I'll do this too.
A reamer is a metal tool, has a handle, and then it has kind of a conical pointed end, and you stick that in and you kind of dig it around. If you've ever seen an old-fashioned juicer, it's the same kind of thing, but it's a handle.
Those cool thingies where you like twist it and all the juice starts pouring out.
Right.
Of the olden days.
Okay, one last thing that needs to get added before we can
Sugar?
put this on the stove. That's right.
Yeah.
So
Sugar.
it's 2 tablespoons. I'm sorry, 2 tablespoons.
Okay, good. I was like, that's
Of sugar.
For a lot of
Should we put the saucepan on the stove yet? If you're ready to go for it.
Where do you go?
You're gonna want to stir it around to get the juice and the sugar distributed.
Go ahead. 1. You said 2?
2 tablespoons. You want that nice and level. So Lucy's making sure that it's level.
It's
Okay,
perfect.
pour it in. Okay, we're gonna give it a stir.
Delicious.
So the sugar and the lemon juice are going to macerate our strawberries. Macerate is a big word.
It is. Not the biggest one.
Not the biggest, but it is a big word. Basically, it just means it's going to help release those juices. So even if you didn't cook this, you're still going to find, like if it sat in the fridge for a couple hours, that it would be really, really juicy. So this is how I usually make strawberry topping for strawberry shortcake. But we're going to cook this so it gets more like a syrup.
Okay. I'm getting one how to do this.
So we've got a camp stove over here.
So what do I do?
I'll show you. That's what it looks like. Because there's no real good view of my stovetop. So we're going to turn the dial. Keep going all the way. It's got to click first. Nope. All right, so we've got a flame on. And we're just gonna let that start going. So the next recipe we're gonna move to.
Can I move this over so I have my space not by the campfire?
In fact, we're gonna move this out of the way.
So that I have space.
Yep. Okay, next thing we're going to do is our tomatoes.
Can I use this one?
Yep. So Lucy is going back. So we're gonna keep an eye on those strawberries to make sure that they're not burning. They're gonna keep stirring just once every couple minutes, toss them around.
Oh, I didn't know we can separated. So I just mix them together and cut them up?
Yep, we're going to cut them all up.
All of them?
Yep. Now this one, you're gonna wanna take your time with cutting because we want them pretty small. It can vary as far as chunks go, but we don't want super huge chunks. And we're gonna give these a rinse. Even though they're organic, there still could be germs on them, so we wanna make sure that we get rid of all the germs.
I'll go rinse them.
And Lucy's gonna go rinse them. We've got our plastics to hopefully recycle. Do we need to mash the strawberries in the saucepan? Not yet. You can wait, let them cook down a little bit. You might find you don't have to mash them at all. We'll see. You might have to. It's up to you. Okay, so we're gonna need another bowl. This time, a slightly larger bowl. Okay, it's awesome. So Lucy is going to start cutting.
Okay, how small do you need them?
I'll show on a couple of what kind of size we're looking for.
Okay.
Some of them are super big and some are super tiny. So we've got
Some are really round.
big and small. So
And
for
even
these,
smaller.
yeah, and a tiny.
And then chop down.
Yep. Now remember, we've got a tiny serrated knife, so it's a sawing motion back and forth.
It's kind of like if you were cutting onion.
No,
like kind of, just
Kind of.
not much.
Then we've got some that are a little more long, so you can cut in half once and then just straight down. So you can see I start my cut by pushing forward and then I pull back. So push forward, pull back, and then push forward, pull back, push forward, pull back. And that helps those teeth kind of grip that tomato and cut into it a little bit more easily.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, Lucy's gonna start cutting. I'm gonna check the strawberries. Hopefully it smells good to you. It smells delicious to me.
It's my allergies. I can't smell anything. I cannot get a grip. Uh-oh. It's all falling apart.
That's okay. And they're juicy, so they're gonna be harder to cut.
Definitely.
Do you wanna see a trick?
Yeah, probably. I'm feeling pretty epically here.
You're not failing, you're just struggling. There's a difference.
I'm just not doing good.
So what I'm doing, let's see, I can go a little bit further. So I'm holding the two halves together and then cutting through and then keeping them held together so that those juices don't come out all over the place. And then that helps me cut through a little bit better.
I'll try.
Okay. So we need how many cups? 1 cup of each color. So 3 cups total. That's okay. You shouldn't have to saw back and forth too much. If you push forward and pull back, it should cut through.
Push, pull.
Yeah, there you go. Almost. Gotta hang her on.
Push, pull. I did it.
Awesome. So Lucy, I'm gonna have you move aside for just a second.
Okay.
Just want everyone to see how fast these strawberries have come in just the short amount of time. So that syrup is not going to take very long to cook.
Can you do first and I do for strawberries?
Sure.
It's really hard cutting tomatoes.
Tomatoes are, yeah, they can be hard.
Oh, this looks so good. What kind of pancakes are we making?
Strawberry cheesecake pancakes.
Some cheesecake?
Yep, there's going to be cream cheese. Oh, and I should have mentioned that. Your cream cheese you're going to want having out on the counter. Same with the goat cheese for the bruschetta.
If it's too late for both of them, you can just take them out of their package, throw them in the microwave for like 15 seconds and they'll soften up.
That's true. Yep. So if you haven't had them sitting on the counter to warm up, then you can put them in your microwave. Make sure it's a glass microwave safe bowl. And you can put it on for 40 seconds and that'll help soften it up a little bit. You want to check those strawberries again?
Oh, yeah. I don't think a little bit of mashed. Not much. I don't know what they're supposed to look like, but they look good. They look like they're maybe starting to burn a little bit.
Okay, go ahead and turn them off for now.
Okay.
We can turn them back on again in a little bit.
Is it off?
So now if you wanted to kind of be particular about your presentation and make this really, really pretty, you want to make sure you get a good balance of all of the colors of tomatoes that you're using. Now, if you're just using red tomatoes, that's completely fine. I do find that yellow and orange tomatoes have a slightly sweeter, less acidic flavor than the red. Yeah, go ahead. Tell us what you think. You can totally take a bite and see, you know, do you find that that's true, or do you think I'm wrong? But if you've
I
just
like the red more than yellow, or
Yeah?
the orange so far, but I haven't tried the yellow, so.
And keep in mind, if you don't like tomatoes, that's fine. You should try them in different things. You might find you like them fresh, or you might find you like them cooked, like in spaghetti sauce or pizza sauce.
I honestly think that the red ones taste sweeter.
Oh,
But maybe
interesting.
that's just because I've always grown up just eating those ones.
And
And
the-
not orange and yellow.
Yeah. So the different colors don't mean like some are ripe and some aren't. Because like with green peppers, if you let them ripen, they turn into red peppers. But that's not the same for tomatoes. These are just different tomato varieties.
Yeah, but red and like the purpley colored ones taste sweeter than that.
Interesting. I've always found yellow to be sweeter to me, but
The yellow is sweeter than the orange though. I think orange is like the bottom
sure.
of sweetness. And then it goes like, I think purple.
The other thing I was going to say, sorry,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
is that if you don't like tomatoes, maybe the mom or grandmom or aunt or family friend or cousin or sister, whoever you're making this brunch for, they might really like tomatoes. So even if you don't like them, it's important to consider the people that you're cooking for. And think about what is it that they want? What kind of meal would they like and would feel special?
Mom, you know what this smells like?
What does that
The
smell like?
strawberry pie filling I made.
Yes, it does. It smells delicious. Hopefully you guys are all, whoever's cooking along is smelling the same
Oh
things.
yeah, I forgot now that everyone's cooking.
Yep, not everybody is cooking. You can definitely have tomatoes. Tomatoes are super healthy for us. They contain lycopene, which is something that helps protect skin from being sunburned, which is great because tomatoes are ripe in the summer months.
I need a lot of tomatoes then because I get sunburned quite easily.
Yeah, it depends on how fair your skin is. If you're fair-skinned,
I'm very good.
you might get burned faster.
Caitlin skips tanning, she just goes to burn.
Some people do that, yes. Okay, we're going to measure and see where we're at as far as how many tomatoes we have. So I'm actually going to try to avoid getting a lot of the juices that are here and seeds by just picking them up and putting them into my measuring cup.
Because we don't want to get the bread all soggy.
Yeah, you don't want soggy bruschetta.
That would taste weird.
We might need to do all of these.
No.
We've got more tomatoes in the fridge.
Okay, good.
Okay, so here's 1 cup. Can you admit this person? My hands are very, very messy.
Oh, I can't get there.
Got it, thank you.
Just one more. Okay, I have to turn
You
on
can
the...
see all of the juice that is left over here.
So turn all the way until it clicks and then turn it.
Till it clicks and the flame comes up. But you know, if we're gonna have that over there, then it can just go on the stovetop and you don't need to worry about it.
Oh, I'll just start talking.
Yep. Okay, so here's 2 cups, so we need 1 more cup. So I'm gonna keep cutting. You don't have to make the full batch, that's not necessary.
Do we have any more of these kinds of tomatoes in the fridge?
Which kind?
The purple ones.
No, I don't think we do.
I'm gonna ask Dad if we can stop somewhere. Get some.
I think we just have the red cherry tomatoes in the fridge.
I do like those too. These ones are top and then red. Cherry tomatoes. Next. Tomatoes. So what's our next step after this?
Well, why don't you grab the recipe and you can tell us what our next step is going to be.
Okay,
Okay.
our next step. Oh, preheat the oven to 350.
Okay, that is for the baguette. So Lucy just turned our oven on.
Base bread slices, so we need to cut the bread.
Yep. We'll need to make the cream cheese and goat cheese mixture.
Okay, it says heat balsamic vinegar and sugar in a small saucepan and bring to a boil.
Oh, we need to get that going before anything else.
Okay, I'll get that started.
So get the saucepan out.
Is it this one?
Yep, that one.
Little baby. Okay, got it.
So we're going to make a balsamic glaze to go on top of the tomatoes and basil.
Can a couple of them not have balsamic glaze?
Sure.
Okay, so we need balsamic vinegar. Got it. Balsamic vinegar. How much do we need? We need a cup of balsamic vinegar. A cup?
Yep.
It's a lot.
Here's the measuring cup.
Oh.
So Lucy is going to measure a cup of balsamic, and she's got a liquid measuring cup. Here, I'm gonna let you get in there.
Oh, thank you.
Because nobody needs to watch me chop more tomatoes, right?
We've watched a lot of stuff.
Yeah. And I think we're pretty much done with the tomatoes anyway. So she's going to fill it right to the 1 cup line.
And you're gonna get them eye level on a flat surface to make sure that it's splashing.
Yep, that happens.
Like a lot.
So if you hold it a little bit more like that to let more air come through.
Okay. Oh, you might be using almost the whole bottle.
Oh, go ahead. I'm guessing we probably won't, so go ahead.
There we go.
Okay, terrific. So we've got our 1 cup, and Lucy's going to add that to our saucepan.
I think I left my ingredients over there, or my directions over there. I just need to grab this real quick. Can you tell me how much sugar I need to put in? So after balsamic glaze, add sugar.
1/4 cup of sugar.
Okay. Got a 1/4 cup measuring cup. 1/4 cup measuring cup. And we're going to get, I don't want any lumps. And try to get it as even as possible. Pour that in. Whisk that all together.
Don't forget your strawberries. We gotta check the strawberries.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those. Just going to whisk together the mixture of balsamic vinegar and sugar.
Really quickly, here's our strawberries. Very much a syrup now. We're just gonna keep them on low heat.
Okay. Then we're going to bring the mixture to a boil and then reduce to a simmer and heat for 6 to 8 minutes. Okay. Just like that.
Okay, one thing to note, let me turn this so everyone can see a little bit better. Lucy first put the pan on the stove.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. This is a learning moment, and that's why I'm doing it.
You could run in, knock it over.
Yep, you always want your handles to be inside, not outside.
Okay, next.
Okay,
What is next?
so next,
Making the pancake batter?
making the goat cheese, cream
Oh.
cheese mixture.
Okay.
Move this out of our way.
In a high-powered blender or stand mixer, combine the goat cheese, cream cheese, and garlic powder. Cream until fluffy.
Okay, so we've got cream cheese. How much cream cheese?
8 ounces of low-fat cream cheese.
This is almost a half pound, so that would be 8 ounces.
Yeah, it would.
And it's room temperature. We've had it out for a little while now.
Do I have to put the full teaspoon of garlic powder?
You won't taste it that much.
Okay. So once, whoops.
Oh well.
And then the other one will be for the
Pancakes.
pancakes.
Yes.
Will that be enough?
Should be. So I'm just gonna break it up into little pieces. Sorry if you can't
6
see.
ounces. We only need 6 ounces. So we only need like 2/3 of this.
Right.
And then goat cheese. How much goat cheese?
Pretty
10
much
ounces.
all 3.
Okay, 10 ounces. So this is 3.5 plus 3.5 is 7 plus 3.5 is
Just over 10.
10.5.
Yep, so that's okay. We'll be a little bit over. Oval.
How do you open these?
There should be a little edge.
All of them look like they're a little edge. Oh, I found it. I just have to get it open. Got it.
So I don't know about you all. I really like goat cheese.
I've never tried it, but
Honey goat cheese is really delicious on bread.
it's sweeter.
It is sweet. This is going to be a more savory goat cheese. So we're going to open it up and plop it in.
Mine's little. Mine's little. When you first got this, I thought it was mozzarella.
Ah, so goat cheese is made with...
Goat's milk.
It is. And it's soft like cream cheese, but it's tangy.
Unlike cream cheese.
Unlike cream cheese.
Trying to get all the goat
Which
cheese.
cream cheese is a little more sweet. So this will kind of balance it out, the cream cheese and the goat cheese.
Okay,
It gets messy. That's okay. Messes in the kitchen happen. You just want to make sure that you clean up after them, right?
the goat cheese monster.
Yeah. I'm struggling with this one, so we're going to use a knife. So I'm just using a knife to cut through the packaging. So our balsamic mixture is starting to boil, which is fine. We want it to reduce.
And then we're going to let it go on simmer, and we're going to let it simmer once it's fully boiled. When it's fully boiling, for 6 to 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And we want it to reduce to 1/3 of the amount.
Yep, so boiling it is basically boiling out the extra liquid, similar to how maple syrup is made.
Mm-hmm.
And fun fact, it takes 40 gallons of maple sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. Yeah. Okay, so we've got our goat cheese in there. We need to add garlic powder.
Oh, garlic powder, yeah, I'll get it. Right here.
Great.
How much? 1 tablespoon?
Yeah, yes. Teaspoon, 1 teaspoon. Teaspoon of garlic powder.
It's a small, large sense.
So you're gonna wanna pour it around, kind of make it, there you go. Distribute it evenly, there we go. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to put the lid on. We're gonna have to give this a couple of stirs because it's not gonna all combine right away.
But we don't have to do it this second.
So this is gonna get loud, just so y'all know. You could mix this with a fork. It would work.
Have it, so.
It'd just be a little harder. So right now it's beating everything together.
I don't know.
Okay, so that's a good start. We're going to take a rubber spatula and we're going to scrape the sides. Kind of stir it around a little bit, maybe get the top off, especially if there was some garlic powder on the top of it. Okay, we'll let that go for another minute. right, that's nice and smooth and creamy. So we're going to next cut up our bread. Just make sure there's no questions. Strawberries can probably be just kept on low right now. You kind of want them to stay warm, so I have them turned all the way down. So for this, we're going to cut our baguette with our large bread knife, which is, again, serrated, so it has teeth. I'm gonna cut the little ends off, just because they're kind of skinny. And then you want them to be about a 1/2 inch thick. You can make them thicker if you wanted to, but to get more out of your loaf, cut them thinner.
I stole the end.
You stole the end. We're big into bread in this house. Because why wouldn't you be? Unless you have, trouble with gluten. But this bruschetta, once we're done with it, you could also do like just a lovely salad topping with it. So if somebody that you want to make this for doesn't eat bread, you can easily do it kind of like almost an Italian salsa. There we go. Couldn't think of the word. That's probably good for now.
I guess they're a little bland without butter or anything.
True. Okay, we're still keeping an eye on our glaze. It's still cooking here, boiling down. Just getting out some parchment paper to line my cookie sheet.
Mama, which one is this one?
Oh, it's a little soft.
Oh, I'm not doing anything. Oh, can I place them on there?
Sure. Okay, so that buzzer was our oven preheated, so we're ready to go.
Ready to go. I don't think they need to be this separated.
No,
We're not going to expand.
So Lucy's busy putting them on. I'm going to turn this just a little bit. There we go. Better view.
And one more. I'm going to put these in the oven until they are toasted/burst.
So, yep, they're going to go in our preheated oven, and they're going to go in for maybe 5 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes.
It says 10 to 12 minutes until toasted/burst.
I don't know what burst. Oh, wait a second.
Maybe it's supposed to be burnt.
I don't think we want it to burst.
What does burst mean?
I have no clue. Maybe it does mean burnt. I don't know that you'd want it to be burnt, but.
I don't, so let's just put it in dry fire. Let's try not to drop it.
Yep, so we're gonna do about 5 minutes on that one. We've got to finish up the bruschetta topping. So we've got our tomatoes that we've reserved.
I get 453. At 10:53, we have to take the check on them.
So we've got basil. I'm gonna show the trick.
You can show the trick and then I'm cutting the rest.
Okay, so basil comes in these lovely big leaves.
Whoa.
And then sometimes you get smaller leaves. So like here's a stem of basil. It's falling apart. But you see there's some that are big leaves and some that are little leaves.
Can I put it on?
Yep. And so what you're going to do is you're going to take your leaves and you're going to make them into a nice little pile. You can use the stems if you want to, but they're a little more crunchy.
I'm breaking up all the stems and the pieces for doing.
Yeah. And how much do we need for basil?
Basil, we need 1/2 cup of chopped fresh basil.
So that's going to be a lot of basil.
So you can do some and then I'll do some in the trick.
Sure. Do you want to start setting up your bundle?
Yes.
So what I'm doing is I'm going to chiffonade, which is a very fancy French term. So we learned macerated and we learned chiffonade. To chiffonade means you take your basil
You roll it
You
up.
can all see. And you roll it into a nice, tight little bundle.
Like a present.
Yep. So it's all nice and rolled and it's all held together. So I'm going to take my knife, keeping the point on my cutting board. I'm just going to make nice little chops straight through, rocking my knife back and forth.
Looks good.
And what this does, I'll show you when I get to the end, because I'm trying to concentrate on not hurting myself with a knife. Very important. Is it makes ribbons out of the basil. So we get some ribbons there. So that is a chiffonade.
Look at my little bundle.
Yeah, it looks great.
Joy.
Joyful.
Oh.
Well, this is 1/3 cup. We still need a little bit more. So you've got,
up to 1 cup.
that's okay.
No, that's a 1/2 cup.
Oh, you're right, it is. Oh, darn. Well, you can still cut it and we can use it for something else.
Okay, cool.
So my bundle was enough to fill the need. Okay, and I just looked at our balsamic. Looks pretty good.
This is my second time doing this.
Okay,
I did it.
good job, Lucy.
Where should I put it?
Well, we'll just put it aside for now.
Okay. Where's the
I just
side?
meant the board. You can put the board to the side.
Oh.
Okay. So that's it for the tomato topping. You're just gonna wanna give this a nice stir and mix everything together, combine it. If you wanted to, and I think I might because it's my Mother's Day tomorrow and this is kind of for me, I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt to it.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna say garlic.
No, no garlic, just a little bit of salt.
Yummy. Can I mix it?
You can mix it. Make sure you give your strawberries a stir, especially if they're still on low heat.
I mixed it.
All right, so there is our bruschetta topping. So in order to put these together, we're going to, once those are toasted, we're going to spread our cheese mixture, which was in the blender,
But
and then we're going to top it with the tomatoes.
now
We
it's time
have,
for pancakes.
yep, we're going to switch gears though, so this is gonna get put to the side.
Mom, this is burning. Turn it off.
I don't think it's burning.
Really? Just getting brown.
Well, it's brown to begin with.
No, but like I saw like lighter brown color on top of it. So. Okay. Oh.
Okay, so we have to get,
This is the wrong bowl. Do we need something different?
we need a big bowl, we need 2 bowls actually. We need one for wet, one for dry.
Of course.
Yep.
Dry will go in here, wet will go in here, because you pour dry into wet.
Yes, okay. So you need cream cheese for this one, flour, sugar, salt, baking powder,
And garlic powder.
no garlic powder, milk and eggs. So first things first.
We're going to mix our dry.
Yep, dry ingredients. We need 2 cups of unbleached all-purpose flour. So when you see AP flour, that means all-purpose. And that just means you can use it for pretty much anything.
This says plus on.
Okay? Yeah, go ahead and wash that off. You could use a gluten-free flour for this. Not quite sure how things would turn out. I don't do a ton of cooking with gluten-free flour. But for those of you who are used to cooking gluten-free, I'm sure you have some tricks that you use and know. Okay. I'll get into this cream cheese eventually.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so 2 cups. So for this, we're going to spoon it in because we don't want it to be too much. So Lucy's going to lightly spoon in. And I can shake this to even it out so that we know we're getting enough. Okay, great. And now you can take the other side of the spoon and just clear it off. Oh, it's fine. We packed it a little bit too.
Okay.
So there you go. Okay. 1, 2. Okay, now you can probably just level it off and it'll be fine.
Okay.
Level right over the bag. That's fine. If we feel like the pancake batter is too thin, once we add everything, we can always add a little bit more flour. But I kind of like my pancakes a little bit on the thin side anyway.
Me too. I mean, I like them to be fluffy.
Fluffy's good. Okay, what's next? What else goes in there?
Then we need 2 teaspoons of baking powder.
Okay, so here's our baking powder. You'll notice with most baking powder containers, there's a little lip.
That's
So
to
you,
level.
that is to level, that's
you
right. So Lucy will show you how to do that.
You really don't want too much baking powder.
Right, you want to be careful with how much
Take a big amount.
leavening agent you add. So leavening means to make it rise.
A big mound. And then just take the lip and
Pull it right up, there you go. So 1 teaspoon.
2. Perfect.
Next we need, what? Oh,
half a teaspoon of salt.
half a teaspoon of salt. So Lucy is gonna do this
Over ketchup.
over something to catch it, just in case it pours out really, really fast. Yeah, just like that. Okay, so we've got salt.
And 1 tablespoon of sugar.
1 tablespoon sugar.
I those on the outside of the bag, not on the inside. 1 tablespoon. And then I will whisk this all together. Whisk. Right? Yeah, that's all the dry ingredients we need. And then we'll move
We're
this
gonna
stuff out of
clean our space away.
And we'll get the big bowl in to get our wet ingredients going. Looking good. Unpacking the eggs.
Yep, let's double check one thing quickly. When do we add and where do we add the cream cheese?
Okay, so combine flour, baking powder, salt, and sugar. In a separate bowl, whisk together eggs and milk. Add the cream cheese in, breaking into pieces, and then using a hand mixer.
Okay, our bread is coming out of the oven. It's nice and toasty.
So we add it after we whisk the eggs and milk together.
Okay,
And we use a hand mixer to mix it all together.
okay.
So I'll grab the big bowl, and I'll crack the 2 eggs. I need to take the shells.
Put them in the compost bin.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I got caught on that. We got twins.
So what Lucy's referring to is when you crack an egg and you get 2 yolks
Twins.
in 1 egg.
They're twins.
So we got twins.
I had a feeling that one would be a twin.
It happens a lot with,
Brown eggs. I get it
Brown
a lot
eggs.
with brown eggs.
okay.
But it doesn't mean you have to add one less egg because you get 2 yolks. You just
We
add
need-
the same amount because it's still 1 egg.
Sure. Okay, next is 1.5 cups of milk. We're using skim milk. Use whatever milk you have on hand.
Buttermilk. Probably not buttermilk.
You can use buttermilk.
Really? In place of regular?
I don't see why not.
Well, I'm just saying because
Buttermilk is typically pretty thick.
I know, I'm just saying, like, would it change your recipe at all?
It'll change the recipe, it'll change the flavor, but I think with the cream cheese, it would taste really good.
Whisk.
Okay, Lucy's gonna mix that.
Pop the yolks so that you get all of the yolky stuff.
Very good.
Perfect. And then we'll take our stand mixer and add the cream cheese into chunks.
Yep, so I'm just gonna break off what I know we're not gonna need because we have 8 ounces and we just need 6. So then I'm going to
Cut it into small chunks.
Yep, cut small chunks. And it's okay if this doesn't get fully incorporated, so fully mixed in. You kind of want some lumps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And then after you do that, you add the wet mixture to the dry mixture.
Yeah, I think
Let's
that's
do it
backwards.
Let's do it the other way because that's how I usually.
Yeah, because what happens if you add wet to dry?
I don't know actually.
Well, a lot of times what ends up happening is you don't get the full amount of the dry stuff mixed in, so then you get it stuck on the bottom, and then it turns into a paste, and then you get lumps. And you have basil in your eyebrow.
Ew.
Okay, Lucy's gonna start.
No.
No?
I don't use that thing.
Oh, okay. Check our
Strawberry mixture?
both.
Oh, both of the mixtures. Okay, this one's for.
Okay. So we've got a hand mixer right here.
It smells like it's burning. It also got in my eye.
It's not burning, it's reducing.
Oh yeah, it is like 1/3 of it.
So when you're using a hand mixer, you want to make sure you stick it in and then turn it on. And we're going to start at a very low speed. Don't want to go too fast because then you get messes everywhere.
Hold on, I want to show the sauce.
Okay, Lucy's going to show the strawberry sauce.
It's hard to show.
It's hard to show it on the forward facing. Okay, here we go. Some of our dry mixture, and I'm going to keep going while this is getting added. Scrape down the sides real quick.
Looking super good.
Yeah, it is. Just to try to get everything in there and incorporated. Okay, one more time with the mixture, or mixer. And there we go.
Don't ask what I'm doing. I don't know.
Okay, so we can put that to the side. Whoopsie, sorry about that, everybody.
Did it fall?
Yeah, it felt, but it's okay. We're all good. Okay. So, last little bit before we move on, we're gonna start cooking these pancakes. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is definitely a lot thicker than it was. It has cooked down significantly. It's still there, it's just not as thin as it was. So go ahead and turn that on. All the way, click, click, click. See, the longer you wait, the more dangerous it gets. So you want a flat surface.
That scared me.
I can tell. So here's something for the toasts.
You're not gonna use the cake stand?
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna let this get warm.
When are we making that drink?
If you want to get the ice cream or the sorbet out.
Oh, yeah. I was hoping you would say something ice cream-ish.
Yeah. So I'm not going to make this full batch today because that's a lot of pancakes for you to be sitting here watching me do.
10, 10. Sorbet. Oh, I can't open it.
So this is a 1/3 cup scoop.
They say you want a 4th cup.
Well, a lot of it's sticking to this inside, so it's approximately a 1/4 of a cup. And I've got enough room to make 3 small pancakes on this.
Look how good this looks.
Yeah.
Can I try a tiny bit?
Mm-hmm. So our co-op did not have orange sorbet. It had mango. So I thought, well, mango is comparable. So I chose mango. You could choose raspberry would be delicious.
Should have gone raspberry.
All sorts of different varieties. Alfonso mango.
It's so good.
So with all pancakes, what you're doing is you're waiting to see bubbles start to come up.
And then not.
Yep.
And then you know that they're ready.
However, this is the first time I've used this particular pan for making pancakes, so we'll see what happens.
I've never used it. I'm too scared.
So the oven we're done using because we're done making our toasts. And in fact, Lucy, if you want to put them on the plate and bring them over. It takes a lot of hands to make a brunch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm just taking a peek to see where we're at. They are still pretty light. So now this is a nice nonstick pan, so I didn't have to use any butter or oil or cooking spray. That's fine. Maybe not the ones with the big holes.
Oh, yeah, maybe I should for us to find. Those will be pretty.
Let's see. There we go. And this is a little on the high side, so I'm going to turn it down because I don't want them to burn before the insides get cooked.
There you go.
Awesome.
Now there's none with those big holes. Now there's one, but it'll be fine. This is delicious.
Cool.
And I want to eat it every day.
So I don't know if y'all can see this, but these are starting to puff up and rise.
Oh, these look so good.
So our leavening agent, which was the baking powder, is making things expand. It's a chemical reaction.
Oh, is this the plate we're using?
That is the plate.
Okay.
So we're going to take these off and we're going to do another batch. Like I said, I'm not going to do the whole thing today.
Can we layer like a couple different towers so that I can just grab a tower and run.
You want to try this a little bit? See if it tastes good?
I tried the raw batter.
Did you? There's eggs in it. You shouldn't try the raw batter.
I'm gonna do it with everything I make. You have to test things as you go, as you cook.
That's true. You should taste test as you go.
I don't know if you should taste test raw batter as you go, but
Definitely should not taste test raw batter, especially if it has eggs in it.
it's not that cream cheesy. But I think the strawberries will help.
Well, and I think you probably didn't get a piece that had a chunk of cream cheese in it.
Probably. Oh, so it's like the cream cheese melting
It is.
in it? Oh, cool. That's going to be so cool when you bite into it.
Yes. Okay. So while we wait for those to cook,
We can start making.
we can
our
start
bruschetta.
layering the bruschetta. So we're just going to take a knife and just take a little bit of the bruschetta.
Should I get another knife?
Sure. Okay.
I'm gonna make a couple of them look really nice. Like extra nice.
So this is nice and whipped and creamy. And there's definitely a bunch here, so we'll probably have leftovers. But this will keep in the fridge for a couple of days, especially in a nice airtight container.
Okay.
But you want to wait and put them together when you're ready to eat them, because otherwise they will make the toasts pretty damp.
Why are you so good at pancakes?
Lots of practice.
They're perfect.
So if you can't see, here's our pancakes.
That's the cute. Okay.
So Lucy's gonna start putting the tomatoes on the toast.
How much?
A good spoonful.
Oh, not that much.
Some of it'll probably fall off. Okay, I think these are pretty much done.
Well, things get messy. This is gonna have a lot of basil.
And again, things get messy in the kitchen.
You just
gotta clean it up. All good cooks clean. And especially if you clean as you go, like you saw, we were bringing stuff over to the sink and putting ingredients away that we didn't need anymore. That really helps. Okay, so Lucy got a little bit enthusiastic with her toppings.
Only with one of them. One of them is mounded pretty high.
Okay, look at how pretty these are. We can kind of redistribute a little bit here and there.
It's like seaweed.
It's
Except
basil.
better.
Basil what? Chiffonade.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were waiting for my response.
Well, I was waiting for any response, but
Oh, okay.
since they're muted, you were the go-to person. Okay. Do you want to get a small plate out? Oh, darn, I screwed this one up.
Oh, that's my kind of pancake.
Yeah.
Nice and light. What do I want?
A small plate.
How small?
Oh, yeah, one of those.
So, a baby plate.
Yep. Okay. So here's our pancakes, and we're going to put our strawberry syrup on top.
We haven't made the drink yet.
We're gonna make the drink, don't worry. Do you want to get out the soda? It's in the fridge. Okay, so we're gonna spoon. Now you can definitely put some butter on these if you like butter on them.
Where is it?
It's toward the back.
Oh, I found it.
There are the pancakes. Aren't they pretty too? All right, and these got a little stuck together, but they're okay.
You know what we should have put with it?
There we go.
Whipped cream.
Oh yeah, whipped cream would be great on these. Okay, so we are going to we took lemon sparkling water. We've got our mango.
And I've had a couple.
And if you want to get our glasses. You can use an ice cream scoop. What flavor gelato did you choose? We chose Talenti mango because we didn't have orange. But raspberry would work. All of these would be delicious flavors.
I would love raspberry.
So here, you just take a nice big scoop and you put it at the bottom of the glass.
2 scoops.
2 scoops?
2 scoops.
Does it call for 2?
Okay.
So this is a mocktail, which is a cocktail that does not contain alcohol.
1 medium or 2 to 3 small scoops.
Okay, we can do a little bit more.
Yes. And then I want the rest to eat later.
Okay.
And I'll take that. I know, right?
Ooh, we got one more thing we have to do.
Blood orange.
Yep. We have to make them pretty, right?
Of course. And Mom, the recipe calls for orange or tangerine.
Orange or tangerine what?
Sparkling water.
Yep, we did not have orange or tangerine sparkling water either,
This is not going to be a mimosa.
It will be.
Oh, what's gonna be?
Well, okay, yeah, that's true. Orange juice is
In a mimosa.
a traditional mimosa. So we're going to I took a blood orange, so we do have a little bit of orange to it.
So pretty. And then can I cut the little slit in it to put it on top?
Sure.
But we have to do that after.
Yep, so we're going to pour our sparkling soda over.
Whoa.
This will also help keep it cool.
Kind of like an ice cube,
Yeah.
except better.
Lucy's going to cut a small slit into that.
Oh, well, this isn't small, but
That'll be fine. Yep, so you go about almost half the way through. Okay, and then here it is.
it's gorgeous. How is it going to taste?
It's going to taste amazing. So you can kind of let it mix in a little bit.
How?
Just swirl it.
Like a fancy wine.
Really good. And then as that sorbet kind of melts,
I don't taste any of the sorbet.
you will. All right, should we try the pancakes?
And I know what that sorbet tasted like.
Actually, I want to try the
Bruschetta.
bruschetta first.
I take the smallest piece.
Okay.
The least amount of pixel.
Okay, so here we go. Hold on. Okay. I think it's delicious. We forgot one thing, and it's going to make it even better. We forgot the glaze. So this is going to be really thick.
Whoa. It's like a syrup.
It is. It cooked down a little too much. Probably don't want it to be that cooked down. See how hot it is. Oh, it's not hot.
Hot.
Mhm.
Oh. It's kind of like molasses. How does it taste with that?
Really good. So that's super sweet. Okay, and then last but not least, we've got our pancakes that we have to try. Sorry, Lucy, come here now. Okay. Those are delicious. Mm-hmm. They're not super cream cheesy. Cheesy. Yep, you get a nice little bit of bright sweetness from the strawberries. Lucy's stealing them. So again, this is a meal for the moms in your world. It's not maybe necessarily something that you would enjoy being kids, but your adults will definitely appreciate it. So I hope everybody learned some things. So let's recap. We learned what it is to macerate something, which is to add a little bit of sugar and maybe some lemon juice to a fruit to make it break down and release its juices. We learned, what else? What was the other big word?
Chiffonade.
Chiffonade, which is to make bundles out of your, yeah, really, this is for serving. It's kind of hard to drink them like this. So out of your herbs. So you make a little bundle and then you cut it into little ribbons. Mm-hmm. That's your chiffonade. And then what else did we learn?
I can't remember. Can I try a bite with it? With the
You can. But everybody, I want to say thank you. This was our last kids class for the school year. So we will return in the fall. And at that point, we're going to return with in-person classes. And I'm hoping that we will offer a virtual hybrid. So it'll be in person with video for remote viewing. So thank you everybody again for participating today. I hope your recipes turn out. I hope the moms in your world have a wonderful, happy Mother's Day, and take care, everybody. Have a wonderful summer. We'll see you next time.
Oh, this is hard to chew. It's stuck to me.